Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? This is Erica with the Poindexter Real Estate Group. I am on episode 12 of Leaving California, and today we are in Atlanta. So I wanted to introduce Danthika from Atlanta, Georgia, who is here to talk to us a little bit about what it's like to live in Atlanta and show us some properties. First, starting off, tell us a little bit about you and your business and how long you've been in Atlanta.
Hi, Erica. Thank you so much for having me here. This is so exciting. Okay, so I have actually lived in Atlanta since I got married, which is a long time ago, so almost more than 20 years. And I have been a real estate agent for about 15 of those 20 years. So I'm one of those people that really saw our entire metro Atlanta area explode with development back in the early 2000s, and then slid down with the market as it all crashed. And now we're back again and on top, and we are excited to welcome people from all over the US, because Atlanta is a big city with a small town feel. It's a melting pot of different cultures, and there's a little bit of everything for anyone who comes here.
So do you feel like with that melting pot, they're a little bit more accepting? I mean, what we talk about a little bit is some communities are a little bit hesitant to let us Californians kind of move in, right? And some areas are really accepting of new people and having, a bigger melting pot to melt in with, I guess.
No, we are very happy to welcome you from anywhere. I am originally from Sri Lanka, and I used to live in Pennsylvania with my husband, and he will always laugh and say, I dragged you to the South kicking and screaming, and now I can't get you out of here. So
yeah.
I would say we are very accepting of people. There is Southern hospitality wherever you go. Do not be too surprised if you're in a grocery store and someone will say, hey, y'all, how are you doing, honey? I hope you're having a good day.
Well, and I think that that's something California needs, right? Like, I think when you wave at somebody around here, sometimes they're like, what do they want, And I know when I visit my parents in Texas and someone holds the door open for me and doesn't slam me in the face, I'm always like, dang it, it's nice here. People are friendly. But it's, it's always, it still pleasantly surprises me every single time. And I absolutely love it. Okay, well, let's get started showing off some properties and learning a little bit about the area. You sent me a ton of stuff, which is awesome. So we're going to kind of go through it. I usually try to keep these like 30 minutes, but we have some fun stuff to look at. So I'm happy to kind of keep going if it's working out. So, our MLS, most everybody that I've talked to has this same MLS system, and I don't know what it is. We don't have it here, and it's awesome. Like, I love that I can like highlight where these are located when I scroll through the map. It really works for this system for what I'm doing. But we can start at the top in Madison Commons, Atlanta, Georgia. This is pretty central to the city. Rewind. Okay. So if you haven't watched this show before, basically I use the $500,000 price point because that's our median home price here in Placer County, California. And so I ask everybody to bring me $500,000 properties where they're at. Now, a lot of people who are leaving here don't want to pay $500,000, and there's plenty of inventory below that price point in Atlanta, but it's just I had to pick a comparison point.
Right. And I would say, Erica, just to butt in, I'm sorry to interrupt. I would say that the median price point in Atlanta is probably about $325. So for $500, you're well above, and you're getting a lot of stuff depending on which part of the metro area you live in. If you're on the north side of the city, either in the northeast corridor or the northwest corridor, you will be paying more for your house, because that's typically where we've seen a lot of development and a lot of people go. But if you're on the south side, which is south of the airport, you will get a lot more house, a lot more bang for your buck. But, if you were to compare school systems, and if that was important to you, then I would say you want to stick, either in Cobb County, Gwinnett County, Hall County, any of those counties that are north of the city.
Okay. So we've got a few of those here. And then, so we'll start we'll start with this one, and then you could tell me. We talked to you about, and this, like I said, this comes up on most of the conversations that I have. Is direct city center, like really downtown, is going to be outside of this price point, and the same is true for Sacramento. So we're bumping a little bit right outside city center. This is 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, over 3,100 square feet. And then you can tell me a little bit about what it's like to live here, and a little bit about like this particular community. And I kind of just go through the pictures as you talk.
Okay. This is a house that's in Dunwoody. And Dunwoody, Georgia is just, literally, I mean, that's as good as saying I live in Atlanta. It's you get a lot of, it's part of the perimeter of Atlanta, and you get a lot of young families, professional people who work close by in Sandy Springs, in, that area. And so the houses you get will be a little bit on the older side. I would say maybe 1999, 1980s, 1999 for this price point. Anything that's newer in that area is probably going to be in the $600,000-$700,000 area price point. But if you're looking for, kind of like a very family friendly kind of, and I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to say that, but there's lots of, lots of young professionals with their kids who live in Dunwoody. We have the perimeter mall is right by there, and with around that you have office buildings, great shopping, just about anything you would ever need. Your Costco is down the street from there. We are big in Costco in Atlanta here.
Us too. We love our Costco.
So it's Dunwoody is a great community. The schools are excellent, and people just love that area.
And the house is so cute. Like I love like this series in seeing the different like styles and architecture. And it's sometimes when I'm showing the houses, it's pretty consistent around the region of what the houses look like. And it's kind of like that here, right? So any of the new builds, they're kind of similar. And so it's fun to see all the different stuff without having to travel.
Traditional house. Back of the 1990s, where we saw a lot of brick front homes with concrete siding on the side. But I would say that's pretty typical. Now we see a lot more of the modern farmhouse, the grays, the whites, the stark black doors. But that I think, that is probably in a neighborhood that is, with a couple of hundred houses in it, with a swimming, it's more than likely a swim tennis community, because, in Atlanta, we like our tennis and we're very big into that. So if you're a tennis player in California, you'll fit right in here.
Really? I didn't know that about Atlanta with tennis. I wouldn't have connected that.
Yep. We are very serious about our tennis and our swim team. And that's the other thing that I think maybe, I don't know if you have it in California, but a lot of communities, subdivisions have their own pools. And in the summer, we have swim team, which is a way for, families to get together. It's a very cheap way for your kid to learn to swim. But more than that, you get to meet a lot of your neighbors, and one night a week, we usually swim against another, subdivision in that group. And I did that with my children and they have loved it. I have loved it. And it's just a great way to meet people.
We have swim team. There is swim team, but not to that level. Like some community, I can think of one gated community that has a pool that has a swim team. But a lot of times it's like regions or like through a city Parks and Rec, you could go on their swim team, and through another city Parks and Rec, you could do that swim team. But definitely not neighborhood specific. So that's kind of cool.
It is very cool. It's like in Gwinnett County where I live, we have, it's like I say, I live for Thursday nights in the summer.
Okay, so let's go down to Villa Rica. So that is a little bit, west of Atlanta?
Southwest of Atlanta. That is probably a little more rural, but once again, we're seeing a lot of, Atlanta's kind of getting a little crowded. In case you haven't heard, we have a traffic problem.
Yeah.
That's probably just a little bit better than California's traffic problem, but we still have a traffic problem. So now we have, if you look at the city of Atlanta, if you look at Atlanta and you divide it up into 4 quadrants, this will be on the southwest side of the city. So you're obviously going to get a lot more house. This is a new construction home. A lot more house, a lot more land, and like, who wouldn't want to live here?
Yeah, I'm like,
this is in a country club and a golf course, so that kind of lifestyle is also available to you for not a whole lot, really, when you think of how much it might cost somewhere else. And
look at that! It's got a water park.
I know, and that's all in your neighborhood.
So that's something else that I've talked to a lot of people about is, especially in the South, is really cool HOA communities that have all these amenities. We have HOAs, not to this level of amenities at all, and they're very expensive. So what does it cost for like HOAs and dues and something like that? I can scroll and find out on this one too.
Okay, thank you for asking that. So in this community, this is probably, like the Mac Daddy of HOAs. So you will be paying a little bit more on average, depending again on where you live. You'll probably be paying about $1,200 a year for to enjoy those types of community amenities. And then if you want to play golf, then you have an additional, you have to get that golf membership. But on average, in a normal swim tennis community where you have a pool and you have a play yard and maybe some tennis courts, you will be paying maybe $500 a year total for your HOA fees. Now, with those bigger communities, they actually have activities directors. It's not uncommon for them to come up with all kinds of different activities. Like there is one community that's north of the city in Hall County that has a hot air balloon festival every fall. How about that?
So this one, like I said, your guys' links that you send me are awesome and have way more information than some of the things that I have. I don't know. The way this MLS is set up is beautiful. But anyway, so this one has an HOA fee of $867 a year. You can get HOAs here for $300 or $400 and you might have a pool, and that's a month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So when I gonna get that to move you down here.
If I ever move to the South, I'm getting myself like the full HOA experience from the South, because again, my parents live in New Braunfels, Texas, and there's one community out there that the first time I experienced this, they have like a lazy river and a pool, and like their whole pool was awesome. And then as I've been doing this series, I'm finding out that there's like even better ones. And
yeah, I mean, like I said, we have communities within like a larger master plan community. So, and the wonderful thing about that is that makes it really affordable for a lot of people. So if you're $1 million, you want, $1 million house, you have a little neighborhood within that main master plan community where you can buy your $1 million house. But then if you can only afford to spend $350, we can find you a house in that same community where you can enjoy the same amenities at your budget.
I love that. So we're going to Marietta, Georgia. So that's a little bit, that's almost directly north of Atlanta.
Right. Well, Marietta is also, one of those hot areas where people go to live, where to get to the city from Marietta, it's only going to take you about 15 or 20 minutes. But once again, you have bigger houses. The Braves, Atlanta Braves, is that what they call them? I don't know. But the baseball team, they just, I'm not a big sports person here.
My husband will kill me because he'll probably, if he's watching, he'll text me whatever the team is. But I am not a sports person at all.
So the Braves have their brand new stadium just, in Cobb County, and Marietta is one of them. Marietta Square is probably one of the nicest downtowns that they've gone ahead and revitalized. You can find these great mom and pop businesses. It's just one of those. They have fabulous fall festivals and Christmas at Christmas time. It's incredibly beautiful. So, like again, the houses there are a little bit older because that was part of the city that got when developed first, but you can still get a lot of the older houses. People have gone in and remodeled them. They've lived there 10, 20 years and they're like, time for a facelift.
Yeah.
Let's do something. So you can still get some. And again, if you're in Marietta, you are only about 20 minutes from the airport and maybe 15 minutes from, a lot of things that you can do.
And this house is huge. This house is huge. This is almost 4,000 square feet on a half an acre. So this is huge. And then we can go down and, I know the lights.
So we are very and I guess I was moving around enough. It kind of figured that I wasn't there. Sorry about that.
You're fine. We have those same lights in our office here. So this one is, like you were saying, a little bit on the lower end or the average for HOA. So this one's about $672 a year. So you're looking at like $50 a month to have access to the pool and that kind of thing, which is awesome because you don't have to have your own pool. And the maintenance of having that in California, lots of people have been building pools. Like the pool builders are backed up in my area like a year because when we're all stuck at home, everybody decided that they wanted to build a pool.
Yeah, I think we have the same problem here because unfortunately, due to COVID, they had, communities decide to close their pools. So yeah, our pool builders are probably have about 10 years worth of work.
They're like, screw it, I want a pool in my own yard. I want my own whatever. So this is going up a little bit past where we just were in Cumming, Georgia. This is 3,700 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Oh, this is pretty. I like this gorgeous one.
I mean, look at that stone exterior, stone and brick exterior. So Cumming, Georgia is another place that is like a hot area. The schools are amazing. It is off of Georgia 400. So again, you can, you take that road straight in, drive straight into the city, maybe 25, 30 minutes. But Cumming is known for its great schools, especially South Forsyth. And there are lots of tech companies that are headquartered in Alpharetta, which is like almost next door to Cumming. And people have been going there for the schools. And of course, the lower taxes that you get in Forsyth County. But you get the houses are a lot newer in this area.
Yeah. So you're not getting the property. Well, maybe. I don't know what the acreage is.
Looks like this is a 3-size brick property. You don't have now, again, because Cumming is such a hot area, you will not find, the half-acre lot, not for 500. But again, they have, these lovely amenities and clubhouses that people can use within that. Yeah. I mean, that is one thing I will say, that even in the suburbs, it is a little hard to get property on more than half an acre for 500,000 because we had this, I guess, the McMansion syndrome, where we put the biggest house we possibly could on, typically about a third of an acre. So the house kind of took over the lot.
Yeah, no, and but with having those amenities, I think that you have other places to entertain and things like that. So I think that it's, it balances itself out. I was going to ask you something about this and I totally lost my train of thought, but that's okay. You were talking about people and COVID, and I talk about this every episode, and like, where are you feeling like people are moving from? And same as here, well, like we've got people moving from San Francisco and other areas into Placer County, Sacramento County, because they no longer have to go into work. And so they're taking their more expensive housing, selling it, moving into some place a little more affordable where they still have access to their office if they have to go in once a week or every other week or something like that. But that was huge before, and it's even more popular now. And I move a lot of people to Reno, Nevada, for the same thing. Like, it's an easy commute to San Francisco, but they're outside of
Okay, so prior to COVID, I would almost say that the trend was to come closer to the city. And, we had a lot of live, work, play communities within the city, smaller homes where people can walk around. But I think with COVID and with employers being so accommodating of their employees, need to work from home, we have seen a number of people move out of the cities into the suburbs because all of a sudden, space is becoming a premium and you don't really get that space in the city. So if you're homeschool, if you're forced to have your kids go to learn digitally, or if the husband has a meeting in one place, the wife is somewhere else, having a house in the suburbs that's about 3 or 4,000 square feet, and in addition, the likelihood that you would probably be able to get a finished basement with that just opens up a whole lot of space. And so we've seen a lot of people, I think, move out towards Gwinnett County, Cobb County, just because they get that bigger home. Now that is within our area, but we've also seen people coming from out of town. We have people coming in from New York, from Texas, from Tennessee, some from the West Coast, but I think in California, people typically like to go to Texas and maybe, the mountain states, some of those.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about to you before we started. Is I feel like Tennessee, Carolinas, Texas, we see a lot to Idaho, and then I think that those people that were born there are like moving into the South, and like you're seeing those people transplant away from us.
Right.
What it looks like to me.
Well, you know what? I tell you what. I think like in Atlanta, we have great weather. If you like sports, and I think you may have caught on earlier on that I might not be a sports girl, but we have a lot of things. I mean, we have a football team, we have a baseball team, we have ice hockey, we have basketball. Then we have minor league teams. We are a sports town. If you like music, we have all kinds of music. I mean, it's the cradle of hip hop music here and trap and all of that. But we also have, these lovely in the summer. And I'm hopeful that, once we get the vaccines out and people start taking them, that we'll be able to enjoy some of these. We have, Chastain Park concerts where you can, in the summer, grab a picnic basket and go listen to a band. Who doesn't like that? And then if you're a foodie, we have this amazing stretch of road on Buford Highway where you drive and it's like going to a different country. You're like, oh, I want Vietnamese food. Oh, let's go here. I want to have some dim sum. Let's make a left turn. I mean, you're in heaven, right? You've got the best of everything.
My friend, I don't know, she probably doesn't watch these, but my friend is on a 6-month road trip. They took an RV across the country, and she says the food in the South, like, it just can't be beat. And she's always showing off all of their food adventures this whole time, and I'm like, I'm so jealous. I can't wait until the opportunity to really travel again and experience some of this stuff that I've been working on. So
we have such, like these young chefs who have, set up gastropubs and just amazing little, I mean, the food is great. I mean, I grew up thinking the Olive Garden was awesome, and Olive Garden is still awesome to me. I'll go there any day. But, we have so many other options that it's just great. The food scene is really, really, really good here.
And opportunities for people to, as an entrepreneur, right? Like, I love watching other people use their talents and gifts and to feed their families and make money and enjoy their life, right? So I am the first person in line usually when a new place opens up. I just like to support and make sure that, I like Olive Garden too, but I also like my neighbor who needs to feed their kids. And so I love that the community in Atlanta is so supportive of small business, because I think that's super important in keeping culture and community alive in an area.
Absolutely. And I think that, in general, I would say the state of Georgia is a very business friendly state. We make it very easy for people to come in to and start a business here. The education system supports it. We have Georgia Tech, which is, at the forefront of a lot of these emerging technologies. And they actually have incubators for, their graduates, and even so that they can start, funding some of these great things. And then 9 out of 10 Fortune 500 companies have some sort of operation in Georgia. We also have almost 18 companies that have their world headquarters in Georgia. So it's very business friendly. And I think having that business friendly environment to some extent has driven, companies and, consequently people to relocate here.
Yeah, that is it's super cool. I like that a lot, and I think that people from California who are looking to start a business and maybe it's not feasible for them need to take into consideration some of these areas and really investigate what their what it's like to run a small business there. So it's super cool that you have that, because then I can share that with anybody who's leaving here who needs that information. So we're going back to Douglasville. Is that this one? So this is 3,400 square feet, built in 2006 on an acre. These larger lots, I think that Californians dream about that in the South. I know that they do. When I talk to them, when I talk to Tennessee, and he sees a lot of people from California going, I want land, because we don't, in my area that I live in, I sell a ton of rural property, but it's not in abundance in California, and it's expensive. So this is probably something that I think people would really, really enjoy. And how far is it from the city of Atlanta? Or, how rural is it, like as far as getting to places and things like that?
Okay, so Douglasville is south of the city, but it is only about a 15-minute drive to the airport. And it is one of those cities that has seen an explosion in growth, primarily because, you get so much bang for your buck. Something like this on the north side would be 600,000-700,000. So in Douglasville, you're getting a lot of house. And, the thing about Atlanta is we understand that the traffic is a problem here. So you will find, once you get to your house, everything that you would want wherever you live, whether it's on the north side or the south side, is within like a 5 to 10 minute drive of where you live. So, for example, I live in Gwinnett County, like I've said. Within 5 minutes of my leaving my house, I have access to a gym, a nail place, dry cleaners, 3 grocery stores, a pet place, a couple of animal hospitals. And so once I get to my house, I really don't need to get out of my house for more than 10 minutes to get whatever I want to get. And if I really want to spend an extra 5 minutes, I go to the Mall of Georgia, which has all kinds of shopping, a Topgolf. So we try to make sure that, we address this traffic problem by having most of what people would need for entertainment fairly close to where you live.
So if you're keeping, that's a smart way to think about it. So if they're keeping people in their communities in a way, right, and they're not having to travel to other parts of the county or into the city, it's eliminating that traffic because they're not having to go down there. So that makes a ton of sense. I don't live in a super traffic heavy part of California. Downtown Sacramento, right, 5 o'clock, it can be kind of like traffic, but I don't live in a place that's gridlocked in traffic all of the time. We're very, like I said, I work in a more rural area. There's some subdivisions. It's a lot more similar to this than what the city of Sacramento would be like.
Right.
So this is so pretty. I'm moving tomorrow.
Come on down. I know a good realtor who can help you.
I got a girl. No, this is so beautiful. And it looks like a lot of this acre, because that's not an acre, is wooded. So you probably get some cool creatures and things visiting on a regular basis, which is the best part of living out in the rural area.
I will say this is another thing I want to emphasize to people. Even though we are a big city, one of the things that people are completely struck by when they come to Atlanta for the first time is just how green we really are. Even within the city of Atlanta, there's a lot of greenery, a lot of, beautiful parks in Fulton County, wherever you go. So we are actually, I think we're known as the city among the trees, because you will see a lot of trees and a lot of greenery when you come to Atlanta.
Sacramento used to be the city of trees, and now we're the farm to fork capital of the world. I think that's what it's called.
There you go. I love it.
But because honestly, like Sacramento is really central to a lot of agriculture, and so there's so much local food and fruits and vegetables and all that kind of stuff here. It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait to come visit. I'm sure you have some amazing gastropubs and stuff like that.
There's an amazing food scene here, and it's unfortunate, like, don't want to get into it too much, but it's unfortunate right now that everything is closed. So I'm doing my best to take out from as many of these restaurants as I possibly can. And I know most of my friends are doing the same. Like, we just doing the best we can to keep their doors open as long as possible. And hopefully, soon enough we get back to it. But
yeah, I'm sure we will. I mean, nothing stays the same forever. So let's fingers crossed. 2021 is the year that we all get to go out and live life somewhat the way
eat all the food and do all the things. So Carrollton, Georgia, this is 3,400 square feet on it's 4.5 acres almost. So this is awesome.
Again, on the south, it's also pretty close to downtown. So again, it's on the southern side of the city, but you will get more house, and this is new construction. We see a lot of, new construction has this modern farmhouse look, a lot of grays, a lot of, natural woods. But, you will see this is fairly typical of what you would see with new construction at this price point in Carrollton.
Yeah, this modern farmhouse thing is popular where I'm at too. And I like the style. I'm just bored of it. Like, I see it in everywhere, and I love when I know that like something off of this isn't to everybody's taste. You got to wave your lights again.
Wave my lights and Jeannie, come on.
But I like when sometimes I come across a house that's been styled differently, because I'm the one that's seeing them all the time. The client.
Look at that bathroom. Isn't it fabulous? Look at the tile on that shower. Isn't that amazing? I love it.
Look at this tile. I love that tile. I love
frameless enclosures, frameless shower enclosures. It's fabulous.
Let me get back to it. I clicked a button and now I have to go to it again. No, it's beautiful, and I like the pop of color. Give me some color.
Right.
There it is. Yeah. So it's a little bit blue. I don't know why it doesn't.
I think it's probably black and white. I think that tile is black and white, but you see it in the frameless glass enclosures. So
that's so pretty. So pretty. And this is something I see a lot too. These huge soaking tubs by a window. And if you've got 4 acres, nobody's looking in. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, if you got 4 acres and you got to put up blinds, you got a problem. There's something else going on.
You got a weirdo for a neighbor. That's nothing. You got to, yeah. Love this. This photographer took tons of pictures, which is awesome. I'm just trying to get through to something.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing in our MLS. We are allowed up to like 75 pictures, I think, depending on which MLS you use. So look at those ceilings.
Yeah, we get 99, but I don't, unless there's, I don't see anybody using all 99 unless the house is huge.
Yeah.
But, let's see. So we go back, and that is, I don't want to lose my spot. So okay. This is a northeast now, Belmont Creek Point. So this is 3,200 square feet. This is a smaller lot. And this is kind of what you were saying, right? So when you get north,
this is in Gwinnett County, Georgia, which, like I said earlier on, was the cradle of development in the U.S. for the longest time. Now, Suwanee is one one of those cities, I think, that was named as one of the best places to live in. So again, it's there's a lot of parks, a lot of things for you to do, and it's a very very they have food truck Fridays there at Swanee Town Center. There's a band usually every Friday night at the town center. It's a lot of these wide open spaces, double height windows, and big houses. But your lot size, you're not going to have a whole lot of yard. You may have enough yard to probably put a play set for your kids. Now that's a house that's on a basement. So $499 in Swanee on a basement is, that's a pretty good deal. Now, this basement has not been finished. If you were to finish a basement in Georgia, and people finish it off to have a media center, a game room, that kind of stuff, it'll probably cost you about, I don't know, maybe $70,000 to do it really nicely.
Yeah. And then it'll be worth it because you have that much more square footage to live in, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, this house does have a decent amount of yard.
Yeah.
But it's not, that's, in general, houses are built on a third of an acre. So if the lot is flat, then you have a lot more flat backyard. But if you, sometimes, it can be that it's wooded, or that it's, on a sloped lot. So you won't really get a lot of flat backyard.
Yeah, because they're calling it 0.15, but it looks like that the yard itself, like that particular space, is usable, so you get more yard for the money. And let's go to the next one. So this is the last one in Gainesville. I like to see the whole thing. So this is far northeast. Okay. And you're saying, like, is this like the most expensive?
No, Gainesville is also now is like the new hot place to live, primarily because if you live in Gainesville, you're close to Lake Lanier, which is like the lake that everybody wants to run to in the summer. It's actually a pretty crowded lake in the summer. But Gainesville also has a great hospital system, and they're known for their heart surgeries. So we see a lot of doctors, a lot of businesses are in that area, and a lot of people tend to go there. So it used to be pretty rural 20 years ago. I might have been like, oh, I've got to pack a bag and get my overnight clothes 20 years ago because I'm going to Gainesville. But it's I would say it's about an hour from Gainesville to get to the city. And maybe less, depending on, traffic, of course.
And something like this, so it's brand new construction. They have it listed at $499. Once you get all your upgrades, what do you think that something like this will actually cost? Or do they actually advertise the full price over there?
Okay, so most of the time with spec homes, they actually build in a lot of upgrades. We have builders who, it's not that common to have builders come up with a shell of a house and say, oh my gosh, I've got to spend $80,000 in upgrades to get it the way I want to. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. It does sometimes, but most of the time with builders, they will throw in, hardwoods in the main area, maybe the kitchen. I think in this particular house, I'm trying to see, let me put my glasses on. I think for the most part, see, this is a small one, so you could probably customize it a lot more and really add on with your upgrades. But no, I think that on average, most people, if they're buying at the $400,000 or $500,000 range in Metro Atlanta, don't really need to spend a whole lot of money on upgrades because all those upgrades are already included in it.
They're already included in it. That's super nice because for us, some of the builders do, but a lot of times when you're going into a new construction neighborhood, and this is why I recommend all of my clients make sure to take me along with them when they go see new construction, because they have to be educated on, okay, yes, the base price is this, and then if you want different cabinets or different floors, and it's important that you have representation through all of that because it can be confusing for sure.
Yeah, and I think with new construction, one thing that we do see here is that in the model home, which is also the sales center, they tend to like overload it with all the upgrades.
Yeah.
And usually in a model home, there's about $50,000 to $60,000 worth of upgrades in there. And yeah, so I think it's wise to take an agent with you because, it's very easy to think that you're going to get something and then find that, oh, I've got to pay, 5,000 for that. I've got to pay 10,000 for this.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. So, okay, so we got through all your houses. I thank you so much for bringing all of those with you. It's super fun to explore all the different areas and really get to know the community. And I've super enjoyed this series from the comfort of my office in Roseville, California. And I'm able to explore all kinds of different cities. And if you're watching, if there's a place that I haven't interviewed yet and you're interested in moving there, I'm always looking for ideas of places to highlight. And I've learned a lot about Atlanta today. So I really, really appreciate your time. And I look forward to working with you and helping my clients move your direction if that's what they're looking for.
Thank you so much for having me here, Erica. If your clients are interested, I will send you the information. I do have a pretty comprehensive relocation guide that I send to all my clients who are moving to Atlanta, so they have a good idea of what's available here. It's about 40 or 50 pages. And then I also will send you a link to my YouTube video on why you should come to Atlanta.
Yeah, so I've got, I'll link the video in the comments so that they can find you easily. And then if somebody is interested in that relocation guide, just comment on here and we'll make sure that we get that to you. I'm very excited. None of my other guests have built something like that for the audience, and I really, really appreciate it. And I think that's going to be super exciting and super helpful for people who are looking. I mean, from California to Atlanta, that's pretty much as cross country as you can get. And it's a huge move and a big deal. And having the right support will make that transition even better for whoever's doing it. So
yeah, I've moved a lot of people from corporate executives to military. And I myself have moved and I'm originally from Sri Lanka, so I kind of flipped all the way from the country. So I know that moving can be traumatic. And in our company, with with my team, we want to make sure that relocation is as smooth can be, and that you get to love everything about and enjoy everything that Atlanta has to offer. Thank you so much, Erica.
Thank you so much. This was great. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Again, I really, really appreciate it. And have a good rest of your week.